Manga-Waido.
I'm Haruto. Right after graduating from college, I got a job at a really great company. It was a very friendly and at-home type of work environment. I met my current girlfriend, Shoko, while working there, and we eventually started living together. My life was going great. But due to economic difficulties, our company was hit hard, and it eventually went bankrupt. I was left unemployed, but my misfortune didn't end there.
Hey Haruto, I want to look for other marriage prospects while you look for another job. You don't mind, do you?
Come again? But you said you wanted to marry me. What happened to that?
Do you really think I would marry some unemployed guy? Are you out of your mind? If I find a nice guy before you find your next job, well, if that happens, I'm sorry, but we're just going to have to part ways.
Quit jerking me around, Shoko! You really think I'm going to agree to that?
Don't yell at me, Haruto. You're the one who lost your job, not me. This is getting tiresome. Let's just forget the whole thing and end this relationship right here and now.
With that, she stormed out the door and out of my life. I didn't realize until today that she could be such an awful person. I lost all hope after that. But I couldn't just wallow in my own self-pity. I had to find a new job and quick. As I was searching through the classifieds for a job, I got a call from my dad. Hey, Haruto, how are you? Son, why don't you come home and start working for my company? I'm not really in good physical condition lately. I sure could use your help. It just so happened that my father ran a fairly big company back home, a well-established local company with over 100 employees. I was all set to take over as president, but my father insisted that I get some real-world experience at other companies. I, too, wanted to get a little business experience outside the company. That's why I kept my distance from the family business the past few years. To be honest, I wanted to work a bit more at other companies. I felt like I wasn't ready yet, but I was concerned about my father's health. It just seemed pointless to refuse, considering my dad's condition. So I accepted my dad's offer. With that, I moved back home, and the following week, started working at my father's company. But it's not as if I had it easy. My father instructed the other staff members to treat me like any other employee. Actually, I didn't want it any other way. I would have felt uncomfortable being treated like royalty anyways. Plus, I had a lot to learn about the company and how it did business. It was about 1 year after I started working at my dad's company. My dad's condition improved, and I was comfortable working at the office. I returned to my apartment after a long day at work. On that day, before I left the office, my dad took me aside and presented me with a gift. An expensive wristwatch. I was saving this watch for you, Haruto. I was going to give this to you when we finally started working together. You're a member of the company now, and a good employee at that. Thanks so much, Dad. I'll wear it with pride. As a kid, I used to admire my dad's watch collection, so I was overjoyed by this kind gesture. It was as if the watch marked a new start to my life. The following week, I got together with the guys from my previous company. After the company went bankrupt, all of them found jobs elsewhere and were getting their lives back on track. Out of nowhere, my old girlfriend Shoko sent me a text message.
I saw your social media page. What's with that expensive watch? Were you lying to me about being unemployed? Was it to get rid of me?
I ignored it at first, but... Hey Haruto, there's some weird stuff uploaded about you. It says you faked being unemployed in order to get rid of your girlfriend. Excuse me? You must be joking. After that, I got a bunch of messages from people who knew Shoko, accusing me of making up that fact that I was unemployed, that I faked it to get rid of her. Someone even asked if I was two-timing her, for God's sake. I was really pissed off with all the BS, so I sent her a text message. Would you all stop spreading unfounded rumors? None of it is true! She called me right after that.
But you had that expensive watch. How can an unemployed guy like you afford a watch like that? You tricked me. I bet you're living with that woman right now. You are, aren't you?
Like that? She just went off on me. After we split up and you stormed out of the apartment, I went back home and joined my father's company. The watch is from my dad's collection. It's expensive, yeah, but it's used.
A collection, huh? So your dad has that many expensive watches? And what's this about your father's company? Are you telling me that your parents are rich?
Yeah, my dad is the president of a large corporation, if that's what you're asking. Anyway, I hope that clears things up. So I wish you would retract what you wrote about me. If you don't, I'll press charges for defamation. I guess that put things straight. When I checked social media the next day, all her messages were deleted. I still can't believe I went out with her and even lived with her. I'll never make that mistake again. I would be lying if I said I didn't care at all for her, but with this incident, I no longer have any second thoughts. A few days later, I was sitting at home when my doorbell rang. I took a look at the security camera by the door, and a middle-aged woman was staring back at me. Who the hell is it? It's really late. My father's secretary, Miss Takagi, was there too. She was delivering some documents for my dad. She too was shocked. I thought I'd completely done away with that woman.
Hey, Haruto. I know you're in there. I'm willing to get back together with you if you're going to take over your father's business.
What the hell is Shoko doing here? When I opened the door, Shoko was standing there with a woman I'd never seen before. Come on, Shoko. I thought we already talked about this. And who, may I ask, is this?
This is my mom. I figured if we're getting married, I should introduce you. Hey, Haruto, you're working at your father's company now, right? That means you'll be president someday. Hey, Shoko, why don't you have him show you his business card? Yeah, good idea. What do you say, Haruto? It will be proof that you really do work for your father's company.
I just stood there, not able to say a word. Miss Takagi was just getting ready to leave. She approached the front door and was about to leave when Shoko went totally pale when she saw Miss Takagi. Anger seemed to well up inside her.
Ugh. Who the hell is that woman? Haruto, are you cheating on me?
Cheating on her? Is she totally bonkers, for God's sake? This is Miss Takagi. She's my father's secretary. She's just here to deliver some business documents. It's late, so I was just going to get her a cab. Besides, why do I even have to explain any of this to you? You said you didn't want to go out with an unemployed guy like me. You dumped me and stormed out. Or have you forgotten?
Shoko, what's he talking about? You said you guys had just had a little spat. Oh, please, shut up. I came back. That's good enough, isn't it? For God's sake. Hey, Haruto, if I can be the president's wife, I'll forgive you for all you did and agree to marry you. What do you say?
Now I'm officially getting a full-blown headache. Was she always like this? This was all getting tedious, so I was ready to call the police and just end the whole thing. When standing next to me, Miss Takagi suddenly started speaking French in a businesslike tone. Shoko and her mother just stood there with their mouths agape. I couldn't help myself, and I burst out laughing. She said you would never be fit to be the wife of a company president. Our company has plans to work internationally, especially in Europe in the foreseeable future. So if you can't even understand basic French, well, there's no chance for you, is basically what she said. And I agree with her completely. So I would like to ask you to please leave before I call the police. She was so angry, words wouldn't come out for a moment.
You jerk! Haruto!
With that, she picked up the porcelain ornament by the door and smacked it on the ground as hard as she could. It splintered into a million pieces. Oh boy. You did it this time, Shoko. That thing was an antique, really old, about 20,000 bucks old.
Huh? No way. That old crappy ornament? It's an old Parisian statue. Here's a photo of it on the net. And the current price.
When Miss Takagi showed her the image on the screen, she went white as a ghost.
Ugh!
If you don't want to be liable for damages, I suggest you leave right this minute and never show your faces here again. If you're stupid enough to show up, I will demand that you pay the $20,000, and for good measure, I'll have the cops here as well. Shoko would not give up and kept muttering incoherently, but her mother didn't want any more of it and dragged her away, kicking and screaming. But as predicted, Shoko got onto social media and began spreading lies about the incident. But in turn, I uploaded the photo of the damaged ornament and how the whole incident went down. After that, everyone seemed to gradually take my side in the matter, realizing that Shoko's version was a total fabrication. After a while, I checked the social media sites and found that she had conceded defeat and deleted all her posts regarding the entire matter. I later heard that she told all her friends on her social media page that she would someday become president of a large corporation. That apparently attracted some unsavory types who tricked her into parting with a considerable amount of money. I heard it left her practically penniless. The old me would probably feel sorry for her, but now, I gotta say, she had it coming. Someday, I will have to take over as president of this company, so I hope to make my dad proud by working hard and making this company a success.